Hello, hi there everybody. Good evening from the UK. Do hope that you're all well, all there in Facebook land. And I'm Bella if you're watching me for the first time. Most people know me as Bella the Secret Psychic, and that's because that's what I do for a living. Is I provide services where me and my spirit guides, because that's how I work, provide services to people who have questions to life's challenges, or good and bad, indifferent. As well as I have my Facebook community here, and I also do some online courses as well. And I hope you're having an amazing day wherever you are in the world. If you're there, do say hey, hi, and hello. And today's subject is going to be on how to communicate with your subconscious. Or you might want to call it how to communicate with my intuition, or how do I communicate with my higher self. And if you don't know what that all means, I have a video on spirit guides, and that will probably explain a little bit about higher self, because one of our spirit guides is our higher self. But basically, it's where the realm of our subconscious live, where our intuition lives, and where our non-corporeal, our spirit guide, our higher self lives within us, helping us to navigate through things, and how you can tap into that yourself, and not necessarily need somebody like me to be able to tap into that for you. So I'm going to give you some tips about how you can do that successfully. So if you are there in Facebook land, or if you're there on YouTube as well, do say hello. I'll give you a shout out as well. So we've got Teresa, we've got Amy, we've got Suzanne already here already in Facebook land, because it takes about a few minutes for people to kind of jump in when I go live. So, and everyone is still coming on as well. And Louise, hi, how are you doing? So, firstly, we're going to be talking, this is the order of what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be talking about the subject that we're doing here today, and I'm going to give you some tips and techniques that you can use to tap into your own subconsciousness. It's a bit like when I did my live feed on the ego. This is kind of like the opposite now, because in that talk I talked about how you should be friends with your ego, but that you should have a balance between your ego and your higher self, and that neither one of them should be too dominant, if that makes sense, particularly in your human aspect. To live in either one too much is not good. You need to have a balance, but you need to make friends with both. But our intuition, our subconscious, quite often gets ignored. Why? Because our conscious self is functioning for us. It's what we're completely aware of, is what influences us, or other people can influence, where our subconscious is deeper, it's personal, it's intuition, but it's also what we don't listen to that often, which then our intuition or our higher self ends up trying to nag us, push us, or play out in sort of dreams, or sometimes in our energy, and how we emotionally or physically sometimes react to things. So this is kind of the opposite to that video. This is about how you can actually make friends with your subconscious, your intuition, your higher self, so that you can access it a bit more, if that makes sense. Hi Sonia, do hope you're well there in Facebook land as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so that's what we're going to talk about firstly. But for those of you who saw my daily live that I do on my Facebook page, and for those on YouTube, if you don't know, on my Facebook page, every week, Monday to Friday, I pull a daily affirmation or oracle card to give people some guidance. And this week it was so interesting. It's very interesting. There was a lot of repetitive messages, but also a lot of cards that were flying out. And a really spooky thing happened on Friday. So if you want to know more about that, the link is in the description down below to my Facebook community, so you can check that out. But also you can join us as well, because we're a lovely bunch of people. And that's also there. So on Friday, I did say that you all got to choose from one card from an oracle pack to find out about your love life, basically, that you'd get a one answer sort of guidance in relation to what it is that you need to know from spirit guides about your love life. So there were 3 cards to choose from, and you just need to choose one, and I have them here. So you have these 3 cards. So this is number 1, this is number 2, and this is number 3. Okay, and it's in the exact same order as it was on the Facebook page, because I know sometimes when I go live it looks like it's the reverse way around, but it's not. So number 1, number 2, and number 3. So all you need to do is, what is it I need to know for my higher self when it comes to my love life, and this will answer your question. So if you've already chosen, you'll get the answer already at the end. If you haven't and you're watching this for the first time, choose now. Okay, Number 1, number 2, number 3. Have you got it? Fantastic. So we'll come back to that at the end. So again, just before I start, I just want to make sure that everybody's playing catch up and that everybody is here. And if you're watching this on repeat, hey, hi and hello, do comment, do share, do like. So we're going to start off straight away. So talking about making friends, because that's what I want to talk about first. One of the first tips about how you can start to communicate with your subconscious is to make friends. Make friends with your subconscious. Now, how do you do that? Particularly when you've been ignoring it. Not everybody ignores it, you know, lots of people at prominent times, particularly if your intuition or your subconscious or your higher self is really trying to really get your attention about something, then you tend to not, and it will feel like a pit in your stomach, or you'll have it in recurring dreams, or you'll have this inner dialogue or this inner voice that will keep going and going and going, but you're not sure which one to listen to. And normally your subconscious and your higher self is a lot more kinder to you, sees solutions to things, and is a lot more positive than perhaps your ego is. But sometimes, because it can sometimes be so positive, sometimes we might tell ourselves, well, no, that can't be true because what's logically happening before you doesn't meet that. Or you might be thinking that's wishful thinking. And you can, this is where you can, these tips will tell you how to basically tell the difference in what, you know, what's your ego and what is your higher self. But you must make friends with that. So you must start to learn to listen to it more so that it has a bigger voice, just like your ego does. Because in our human aspect, our ego has the bigger voice. So making friends in this kind of way, and I've gone on about this before, which is things like meditation, putting yourself in a relaxed alpha state. Why? Because that's often where your higher self or your subconscious plays out. Where? When you're sleeping, in your alpha state. Or when you're, but so if you can do that when you're awake and not necessarily wait until you have a dream and then you have to remember the dream before you forget it throughout the day, that you start to actually train your brain and train your, you know, your mind body to start to attune and listen, feel, see or hear what your higher self, your subconscious wants to tell you. The first thing and the easiest thing you can do is to meditate. Now, meditation doesn't have to be that you have to sit somewhere for 20 minutes or an hour to, you know, with your legs crossed, you know, humming or something. You can do that if that's what you like, but you can do it in many different ways. You can do it through yoga, Tai Chi. You can do it by sitting and just listening to music. You can do it while you're in the bath and you're just being present with yourself and you're sort of just checking out your own energy and your own thoughts without there being sort of everyday interference, no phones, no nothing like that. But by doing it a little bit more regularly, even if it's for 5 minutes, even if it's through like colour therapy, by doing that, you just allow the ego to kind of die away and to start to have really nurturing conversations with your subconscious, your higher self, and almost a little bit be nice to it. Why? Because again, you've been ignoring it for this time. It's like, oh, you want to talk to me now? You want to talk to me now? And it's like, yeah, you know. But by being nice to it, by being nice to almost yourself, your subconscious self, particularly if things are challenging or hard, this is where you get the benefit and that voice gets louder and gives you really good guidance, particularly if you want to manifest things, and it helps you to give you synchronicities. But it's like a mutual thing. You know, when you love it back, it gives you more love. When you're grateful, it gives you more things to be grateful for. So another thing that you can do is to give yourself some positive affirmations. So when you're meditating, what is it that what is it in particular that you really want an answer to? Before you get that answer and you give yourself that relaxed alpha state kind of mode, is once you're kind of almost there, is just to kind of say to yourself, you know, let's just say, for example, you are going for a job interview, you're very, very nervous about it, and you're having a bit of self-doubt and a bit of self-confidence, lack of self-confidence. And so you've got your ego going, you're probably not going to get it. And what you need to do then is spend some time with your higher self, with your subconscious, saying, what is it that I need to know for my highest good? I can't hear you, but, you know, give yourself an affirmation. I want to hear, I want to understand, because I believe that I'm really good for this job, and I believe why. I believe why because, and list all the great things that are about you. When you start doing that, it's almost like your subconscious, your higher self starts to believe in you. starts to believe that you can believe and have faith in things, because this is what spirituality is about. It's about having faith in sometimes what we don't see that is yet to come, but actually by understanding that with our higher self and our spirit guides, that we can actually draw whatever we want to us, if that makes sense. And if I'm not making sense, please tell me. We've got a few more people that have joined. Nada, sorry, and Dawn as well. Dawn says she's driving to the coast and she's to stop for a second, but she'll watch later. That's okay, you can watch it on repeat. So, positive affirmations, because when you start to have that making friends, like I said, with yourself, with your higher self, with your subconscious, the information will come to you a lot more freely. Hence why I have my gratitude movement on my Facebook page as well, because the more things we're grateful for, the more gratitude and more things that come to us to be grateful for. And the more you start having that friendly, affirmational kind of dialogue with yourself, the more your intuition will get confidence almost, be louder, speak louder to you, and very clear to you, or give you feelings, or give you whatever it is that I call is your primary extrasensory ability, which people who have been watching me for a while will know what I mean. But that's how it kind of works. That's what it kind of loves. But try to do it again when you're in a relaxed state. Basically, you've got to learn to be a good communicator with your higher self, to make friends with it. So meditate, raising your vibration. So, Amanda Lavin says, love being together in your lives. Oh, that's because a lot of my people on my Facebook page are making very good friends with each other, which I absolutely love. Absolutely love. So, next point to cover is this one. Free writing. So very much, again, you've been having this internal dialogue, and you might be like me, you might want to speak out loud to them, but just be careful when you do it, because people might think you're a bit woohoo, you know. So the other thing you can do is free writing, or some people call it automatic writing. Now, automatic writing can be used if you want to get in contact with spirit guides or people who've passed over. But what it's really good at also is accessing your own higher self, your subconsciousness as well. So again, very similar to what I've just said. When you're in a relaxed state, when you've got no interruptions and you can put your phone away, just allow that time basically to sit with a piece of paper, you know, and a pencil, and do exactly what you would have done but in your mind, but do it sort of, again, answer your question, but just start to write. And even if it doesn't come to you straight away, give yourself a moment, because initially your ego may want to jump in first. So just give yourself a moment, and the message is still there, good or bad or indifferent, because it really depends on what your question is. And sometimes you don't always want to hear sometimes what our higher self says, even though it's gentle and loving and it always says things for our highest good. Sometimes we don't want to hear it. So that's where the automatic or the free writing comes in, because you'll be able to give yourself that moment and just let your hands start to write. Even if it's just a second, you might find that you fill the whole page, and then go back and read what it is that you've written. Pick out what it is, because there will be a message there from your subconscious, from your higher self, to answer your question. But you might also find that just by doing free writing, that actually there's inner dialogue already going on in your head, that you don't need to read it, because actually it's just a process. It's just the kind of, your intention has been set, if that makes sense. Also about how to kind of access your subconscious, your intuition as well. So number three is programmable objects. Programmable objects. Now, why is this important? So again, it's about, because sometimes with our subconscious and our higher self will work out the stuff that's really bothering us or causes us anxiety. So for people who suffer with anxiety, particularly if you're empathic by nature, you may find that you're triggered by other people's energies, or you're triggered by challenging things, and that can be hard to move your ego to a side. So one of the things to help you to raise your frequency and your vibration is to work with what I call programmable objects. Now, a programmable object, sorry, I'm laughing at myself, can be anything that, I should say, has a very special meaning that makes you feel happy, that makes you feel loved. Now this could be something that you brought yourself, was a gift that somebody gave you. You know, for example, when my son was born, you know, when they put a little wristband around their little wrists and then you cut it off, you know, when you get to take them home. I still have that, but that object would be a programmable object for me. Why? Because it signifies a beautiful moment when my son was a little baby and I first had him, and so it raises my vibration absolutely immediately because of the energy and the memory that's in that actual object. So it could be anything. It could be a gift that somebody gave you, like this necklace that I'm wearing today. My husband gave me. It's all the amethyst sort of starstone, and so I know when I wear this, not only does it give me actually the protection that my husband intended it for, but also it makes me feel good because it was given to me by love. So it's those kind of things, if it makes sense. By having that energy, because for those of you who see my other videos, we are all energy basically, and we attract like type of energy, hence why people work with crystals so well, because crystals that have been around for millions of years in the different forms have their own sort of energy signature, have their own frequency that lifts and helps us in different ways. So do objects that we have had in our lives for many different reasons. So by holding an object while you're thinking or answering a question, by lifting your vibration before you do it, while you're in that relaxed alpha state, again, you'll be able to make friends with your subconscious, your higher self, your intuition, but get answers also to questions that you need personally. And this takes practice. This is a dedication a little bit, because you can't just do it the once. And you might do it the once, you might get lucky, but if you to really kind of hone this, you kind of got to do this, you know, give this as a gift to yourself almost every day, being mindful, lifting your vibration and getting access to answers straight away from your own subconscious, your higher self, is a true gift to yourself. So just give yourself that moment every time, every day. Hi Tammy, do hope you're well. So I've got my phone down here because my stand is just annoying. The phone keeps slipping and slipping. I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to have it down here. So I'm sorry that I keep looking down. It's because I want to see who's talking to me, and it doesn't come up on my computer screen, not the same way it does on my phone as well. So we have, so that was number 3, programmable objects. Oh, there was one other thing that I wanted to say about programmable objects. Can also be music. So you remember when we hear certain music, it makes us feel a certain way. Make sure you're choosing music that lifts your vibration, not lowers it or triggers a bad memory. And again, crystals as well. So if you're in particular wanting to connect with your higher self, then a selenite crystal is a very good one to use as well, but there are many others as well. So if there's any question, guys, do jump in. Do not be shy, because for those of you who know me, I will answer them. So the next one is a very interesting one. This is a really interesting one. This is what I call finger lifting, this technique. It's very effective, and you'll probably all be doing this, if not right now, definitely afterwards as well, because it's something you can really easily do. So finger lifting is a way of you setting your intention with your fingers to get answers from your higher self or your subconscious. So all you need to do with this is you put your hand on a flat surface, which I don't have one here, so I'll use my other hand, and you set so that one of your fingers, so this finger here for me will be the one that says yes, and the one next to it will be the one that says no. So I set my intention with my fingers that one will be yes and one will be no. And then I start to answer questions. Think about it like a little bit like a lie detector. So you might ask questions first, like, is my name Bella? And just watch your fingers as they lay on the flat surface, because one of them will move, twitch, something, one of the ones that you said. Now if the one that you programmed to say yes moves, then that's the correct answer, you know it's working. Do you get me? And then you can move on to some more challenging questions about anything to do with your life. And just watch to see which one moves, lifts, feels itchy, you'll get something. Or even lifts, as it suggests, might lift up like that, or just twitch a little bit, or you want to move it or something. That will be your subconscious, your higher self, trying to give you a message. And again, try to do it when you're in a relaxed state and not going to be interrupted. You're all going to be doing that one. If you're not doing it already as well. Yep, Amy said she's doing it. Do it when you're in a relaxed state, and you'll find it works quite well. Very, very well. So with that as well, so here's another one. Another one is pendulum. Pendulum. Now you can get a pendulum from pretty much any kind of holistic store, get it off eBay, anywhere. I've got an opalite one. I have a few of these. I have a rose quartz one as well, so you can get any kind of one that you like. But they normally come on a chain like this, and you basically answer a question. And again, your subconscious, your higher self, your intuition will answer it. So how do you answer the question? Very much like your finger, you need to set the intention with which way you want it to swing. So you'll think, or you'll say to yourself, if it swings, from left to right, it means yes. And if it swings that way or goes in a circle, it's a no. And then again, rest your elbow on something so that it doesn't move around, so that you're not interfering with it. Just answer your question. I'm going to hold it up for you. Answer your question, and then just watch to see what happens. At the moment, it says no. It's saying no to me about something. So, I know an example, but you get what I mean. You rest it and you ask yourself a question. And actually, for those of you who watched a link that I put on, I think a couple of weeks ago now, where Oprah Winfrey was using this. Not only can you use a pendulum to answer questions for yourself that come from your subconscious about things that you need to know, but you can also learn how to manifest just by using your intention to move this the way that you want it to be moved. So all you need to do is tell it, I want you to swing back and forth, and concentrate on that, and it will. Once you realize that you can learn to do that, mine's doing exactly what I just said it to do, you start to understand that you have the power to also create anything just by the power of thought. And that's why I say to people, be careful what you think about, because what we think about is what we create. Hence why the pendulum is actually quite a fascinating tool, not only to get answers from your subconscious, but also so you can realize and understand that that's how the law of manifestation actually works as well. You can do it with a necklace. Yeah, you can do it with a necklace. Does it matter what hand? I would say here, use your dominant hand. Yes, so don't use your non-dominant. So if you're left-handed, use your left-handed. If you're right-handed, use your right hand as well. So that is a good one. In fact, once you start on this, because you get a bit carried away. Not only that, this is also, if you want to meditate, just that very act of just answering it questions or trying to get it to move the way you want it to move is a form of meditation, because again, you're just quieting your mind, focusing on just one thing as well. So that's another way of putting yourself in the presence and meditating as well. So nobody on YouTube today, so maybe it's broken. Sometimes when I do it and then I go on afterwards and then there's like 20 comments, I was like, I didn't see that live. But, technology, and we're still in a Mercury retrograde. You have no idea how many technological things have messed around in the last 2 weeks. I can't wait for this retrograde to be over. It's been really pretty bad on technology. For me anyway. So we are going to go to the next one. The next one is muscle testing. Very similar to finger lifting, but muscle testing. And actually there's quite a lot of videos on YouTube for different techniques, but very, very similar. And actually this one, not only can you use this on yourself, but you could actually use this on other people to find out the truth about things as well, to questions. So if you're still in doubt that your own subconscious or your higher self, with the message that you're getting, you can do it, particularly if it's about somebody. If you can have access to them, you can do this with them as well. So basically you can do this with your arm, or you can do this with a finger. And you'll see some ones on YouTube where they've tested with people. Basically, if I put my arm out like this and I asked it a question to my higher self and my subconscious, and I knew the answer was true, what should happen if the answer is a yes? If I try to push it down, or if anybody tries to push it down, it's quite hard for somebody to do. It will want to stay in position. If the answer is a negative to what it is that I'm asking, or it's a no, or it's false, it's very easy to push the arm down. When it's true, there's more resistance. I'm sure if you really pushed, you could do it, but there's more resistance. But when it's false or negative, the arm goes down a lot more easy. And you can do that also with a finger. You can put your finger out and then answer the question, is my name Bella? And it just won't move. But if I say, is my name Amy? It should go all the way down. All right, so you can test it. But this is also where you can test with other people as well, because you might be like, I don't know. Be careful what you answer as well, because you might get upset. But I don't know, you might want to answer a question, you know, did you take my sweater the other day, or something like that. And if their arm goes down, then it was a no. But if their arm stays strong, then you know that they took your sweater. So that's a good one to know. Oh my god, better than, yeah, it does work. It does work. It does work. These all do work. I'm not making them up. Sorry, Amy said, oh my god, Bella, muscle testing worked, and so did the pendulum. Yeah, they all do work. You couldn't, yeah. Oh, okay. So Louise said that she couldn't find me on YouTube, so there is something wrong with YouTube. So sorry, guys, if you trying to watch me on YouTube and you're watching this on repeat, it's Mercury retrograde. The technology just not working the way it should. Amy, you're making me laugh. Well, I know that. Anyway, right, let me just get to the last one. So that's a really good one, but also a really good one to test on other people if you can get away with it as well. Apart from they might think what's going on. Don't tell them until afterwards, otherwise people may try to force it one way or the other. But you can do it with yourself. You'll find that your body, you know, if something's false or yes or no. Muscle, you can do it with legs, you can do it with everything, and you'll see it being done. There's lots of videos on that as well. So the last one, the last way that you can get in contact with and communicate better with your subconscious is, I put tarot there, but basically any kind of holistic type tool, but I put tarot because it's my baby at the moment in terms of an online course, but it's a way of being able to get messages, and also oracle cards as well, hence why I'm doing the cards at the end of this video that you've all chosen between 1, 2 and 3 to basically choose to get a message that, particularly if you're saying with that message again, what is it that I need to know for my highest good, or what is it, subconscious, higher self, whatever label you want to give it, what is it that I need to know in relation to a certain question. You may shuffle your cards very thoroughly while you're thinking about that and just pull one card. Or if you're a bit more experienced at reading tarot, to pull a three card spread or a fuller spread like a Celtic cross or something like that for yourself, so that you can get some insights and guidance and some advice also on what it is that your subconscious, your higher self, is trying to tell you, but also help guide you towards having the outcome that you desire as well. So that's another way which a lot of people like to use, because sometimes it can give you a little bit more than a yes or no as well. So those were the 7, I think, 7 ways that you can communicate with your subconsciousness and get answers to things that you'd like to know. But first, start very much by giving yourself and your intuition, your higher self, some love, because it doesn't get listened to that often. We tend to not. We try to then let our ego come in and convince us that it's not there, that it's not real, or particularly if it's saying something nice, because it'll always say something with love, even if it's not the best news. And I think for those of you who know, when I do readings, when I don't have good news, hopefully it comes out really nicely, because that's how my guides speak to me. You know, bad news is not always supposed to sound bad. There's always a solution, even out of something that is bad. There's always a way that you can change your perspective, that you can, just like the pendulum, your thoughts decide what happened to you. If you believe that something will be, then it will be. So be kind to yourself. Think positive thoughts, because trust me, when you start to do that, some of the things that you perhaps believed would be just don't exist anymore. Really don't. They really don't. So anyway, I am going to do the free cards now before you all go. So if you didn't have a chance to on my Facebook page and you missed the beginning of this by any chance, you get to choose from free cards. So again, number 1, number 2, number 3. You've got about 10 seconds to decide which card you you will choose if you've not chosen already, and I'm going to read them right now. So number 1, if you chose number 1, you got this one, which is forgiving and learning. So if you see that, forgiving and learning. So if you chose number 1, forgiving and learning, I'll read what it says in the card, but I'm also going to just go with what my spirit guides want you to know, because sometimes what's written on the card is not always what I see. So on the card it says, as you release and heal the past, you'll experience more love in your present moment. So I think that definitely will be true for some people, but I feel here that there may be a situation that's come about for some people in their love life where actually they've had to forgive and then learn, particularly as we've gone through the Venus retrograde recently, which would have triggered very much our values when it comes to love and what it is that we want. A lot of people also would have seen this card and would have probably had experiences where their exes came back. Some not welcomed and some welcomes, or they would have ran thoughts in their heads about exes that they hadn't thought about for a really, really long time. The reason this has come out, particularly just after the Venus retrograde and with all the retrogrades we've got going this month, is that it's asking you to forgive and then to learn from that, because it will make you a bigger and stronger person. You'll attract things that you don't like, you don't need to have to forgive as well. It may also be that you've had a bit of a troubling time with a partner in your life as well, that you're just needing to let it go and forgive, to learn and grow from that together as well, because it's all going to be all right. Even in this Mercury retrograde, which sometimes gets us to look on things and in the negative, we seem to be a lot more irritable, and our communication with people will go, we may hear things that is not expressed the way that the person has meant to express it. So this one is definitely saying forgive and then learn. Set your intentions to the way that you'd like it to be, because remember, your thoughts create what happened to you. So be the master, be the manifester, and the greatest gift you can give yourself and another person, but particularly yourself, is to forgive and to learn and move on. So that was number 1. So we have number 2. Is a great one, guys. So it's number 3 as well. So if you chose number 2, you've got this one in relation to your love life. Do you see that? Very soon. Very soon. So what it says on the card is, clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now. Now this card is very much, again, been very much in line with some of the cards that we've had this week about people's patience, but also that the desires we're manifesting. We had it quite a few times this week. So if you chose number 2, very soon, guys. Very, very soon. And I would say here for my spirit guides, particularly for those who've been waiting for a positive outcome in relation to their love life, waiting on somebody, had an argument, waiting for a marriage proposal, whatever this is, very soon, very soon. And that's what's good about the Mercury retrograde. I know it's not good for technology and communication. It's also really good about reversing situations that have been misfortunate when it comes to love in your love life. So very soon, guys. It's a good one. Very in line with this week as well. So number 3. I've got a few people here who chose number 3 as well. So number 3 is, oh, this is so in line, Amy. Sorry, I've just seen the card. Ready? It is give your relationship a chance. Give your relationship a chance. That is the message from Spirit, guys. And it says here, work on your partnership. So, how does this apply to you in your life? What is the message that I have from my spirit guides for you? Well, basically, for some people, it will be very much the verbatim, which is to give your relationship a chance, whether this is an old one, a new one, or one that has come back to you. Again, I think very much like the first card, you know, give it a chance, learn to forgive, and learn and put it in the past. I think also as well, for some people, how do I put this? It's like not like giving your relationship a chance, but I feel here to be mindful that somebody else needs to give the relationship a chance. Like, not even you. Like, my guides are making me feel that this will apply to somebody else that is thinking about you, that they need to give the relationship a chance, and all you need to do is figure out whether you're going to say yes or no. Do you get me? If anything, I would say here that it says give your relationship a chance, but I would say give yourself a chance. Give yourself a chance to be loved by somebody else. And the first way that you can do that is to love yourself. When you love yourself and you set really positive intentions, nobody can not love you, because you're perfection, basically. Do you get me? So, really good cards, I think. Very good cards. So, I'm just reading the comments. Amy went, oh my god. And Suzanne, emojis, don't you love them? Oh, Mr. Darcy in the background, barking at them. Who could he be barking at what, 9:30 tonight? Nobody should be passing the house at this time of night anyway. So anyway, those are your free cards, and that was my talk on how to communicate with your subconsciousness. You can tell me all about how busy you was with pendulums and your finger listing or your muscle testing to see what answers that you got. But hopefully the cards, particularly if you were wanting to have an answer around your love life, that actually you got the answers that you needed to know right now for your highest good in the cards as well. So I've been Bella. If you like this, and particularly if you're watching on YouTube as well, do subscribe, do like, do comment also here if I've left anything out, or later on you think of a question, just put it in the comment section, because I always get back to everybody as soon as I can, basically. So I have been Bella. I do hope you all have an amazing rest of the day wherever you are in the world. I know for people in Australia and New Zealand it's actually tomorrow, it's Monday for you, so I hope you're having a really good Monday, and I will see everybody on my Facebook page for tomorrow for your live daily oracle as well. So take care everybody, and have an amazing evening. Bye bye.